Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my haunted kitchen. And you know what? It really is a haunted kitchen. I'm Ursula Bielski, and this is my haunted apartment in Chicago. Believe it or not, let's see, we've lived in this apartment for probably about 15 years, and the apartment is on the old movie lot of the Selig movie studios. I don't know if you guys know this, but Chicago was the center of the motion picture industry before Hollywood was a thing. And there were three motion picture studios in Chicago, and our apartment building is built on one of them. And my paranormal friends, psychics, mediums, clairvoyants who have been coming over here for many years have all seen this woman in white in our hallway. So we have our own ghost here on our cooking show, hence the name of the show. I'm Ursula, and I am going to be cooking for you stuffed peppers today, which is why I am cutting the tops off of these lovely green peppers, and I'm taking out all that white because that is very bitter. So you do not want those in your peppers. Now, there are all kinds of ways that you can make green peppers, and I make them all sorts of ways. Sometimes I make them with like vegetarian, with beans and rice and chopped up zucchini. Sometimes I make them like a tuna melt with like tuna salad and cheddar cheese melted on top. But today we're making just kind of like your standard green peppers with sort of the Italian flavor. And so the first thing we need to do is soften our peppers, because we're going to put these in the oven, but they are not going to get soft just by baking. So we have to put them in some water. So I've got a pot of water here coming to a boil, and we're just going to make sure that they are submerged under the water. Get the water inside the holes so they're all down and deep there, and we're just going to leave those hang out for a little bit while we get everything else prepared. I'm going to put these little tops aside because we're going to put those on later. And so now we're going to get the stuff together to make our filling. And again, you can use we're making them with meat today. You can use any kind of meat you like. You can use ground turkey, ground chicken. I'm using a very lean ground beef today. And we are just going to get this started in our pan with some onion. So we're going to get some olive oil in this pan. Just a little bit, enough to coat the bottom. And then we are going to very quickly chop up one onion. And you're going to see how bad I am at chopping up onions right now. I've just never really gotten the hang of it. Although I do have a nice new knife now. You can use more onions if you want. This is a small onion. I probably could use two, but I'm just going to use one because I'm going to add a lot of other seasonings to this as well. So we're just going to get this in the pot with our oil. We're going to chop these up nice and fine because we're making kind of like a stuffing for the peppers, right? So you want everything to be kind of minced up together, not like in a stew. You want everything to be pretty small so that, every one of the pieces of pepper, each one of the shells of pepper gets a little bit of all this deliciousness that we are chopping up. So we're going to get this in the pan and let this these onions are going to just get a little translucent. So just like, soften them up a little bit. So we'll get these in the pan. And then to this, we're going to add some other things as well. We're going to add a little bit of garlic, and you can just use, cloves of garlic. I like to use this minced garlic in the jar because it's really easy. I'm not too great at heating up garlic or cutting up garlic or turning on the stove. Apparently I have the wrong burner on there. So we're going to put that in there. Want to keep this heat down with the garlic in because that is going to get very hot. And you don't want to burn the garlic because if you do, you'll have to start over. And Dave, if you want to come around the side here and we'll take a look at what we're doing here. Dave, my husband, is filming here. So we are just getting our onions and garlic started. And you can see it's already starting to get a little bit translucent from that heat. And to this, I'm going to add some spices. I'm going to add some parsley. You could add whatever you want, whatever. If there's something I add that you don't like, you can not add it. If there's something else you do like, you can add that. You could definitely make this like a Mexican or Tex-Mex flavor. I'm adding Italian seasoning. I'm also adding just some regular black pepper. And I'm also going to add a little bit of additional onion powder, just because I like the onion because it gives a nice sweetness to everything. And we're going to get that all incorporated together very, very nicely. And now we're just going to add our ground beef. And again, this is just about a pound of ground beef, very lean. I'm just going to get that in there, and I'm going to add a little bit of salt, not a lot because my hubby here has to keep the salt down, and some pepper. And then we're just going to break this up and get this all mixed up together. Get my spoon. Our peppers are simmering over there. I just want to get those soft. You know, you don't have to cook the peppers all the way because they will cook in the oven, bake in the oven, but they're not going to get super soft just by baking. So you do want to make sure that you're going to boil them first, or parboil them, I guess you would say. All right, well, this is starting to brown. I'm going to leave that, and we have one more thing we have to add. Or two more things actually. We are going to add a can of diced tomatoes with the juice. And then we are going to also add a bunch of fresh spinach. And then a secret ingredient that's going to make this healthier than usual. So come back in just a couple minutes when our meat is done. I'm going to show you how to finish this filling up, and then we're going to stuff our peppers. And pretty soon we're going to have delicious homemade stuffed peppers. See you in a minute. Okay, we are back, and look at how great this filling is looking. So we've got our onions and garlic, our lean ground beef, and our seasonings in here. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add, I think I'm going to add this whole can of diced tomatoes. Let me see how much I've got in here. We're going to let this cook down. So we definitely do want to have that nice tomatoiness in here. So I think I am going to end up adding all of this. So that's just one, let's see, this is a 28-ounce can of tomatoes. We'll get that all in there. And there's something else, or a couple other things I'm going to add to this. I always like to add a little bit of wine or beer or something whenever I have something saucy. To this I'm just going to add just a touch of balsamic vinegar, which is a little bit of tanginess and a little bit of sweetness, which is really nice. So I'm going to add that, and then I'm also going to add just a couple handfuls of fresh spinach. This adds to the veggies inside. So get that in there. And then, you might think this is weird, but I'm going to add some rolled oats. Now normally, of course, in stuffed peppers, you would put rice, right? But I'm not going to add rice today because we're all trying to eat fewer carbohydrates and more healthy things with more nutrients in them. And I have found out lately that one of the most healthy things that you can eat is rolled oats. Not the quick kind, though, the ones that you actually have to cook. And you can use rolled oats in so many things and make it into a flour that you can use to coat chicken and fish, or even bake with. And you can also use it to make things like stuffing or these fillings like this. So we are going to actually add just a little bit of rolled oats to this. And I'm probably just going to add about 3/4 of a cup right into the sauce. So just sprinkle that in. And so you're creating, really just kind of a stuffing, like you would, or, like when you make a meatloaf, sometimes you can also add oats to meatloaf. Everything you put in here is just going to make it just a little bit healthier and a little bit better for you. And, as you know, I'm not always about the healthiest thing, but, once in a while it's good to dial it back a little, right? So look at that. Doesn't that look great? A little different than your standard filling for stuffed peppers, but I think you're going to find that this is really, really, really delicious. So, all right, so I think our peppers are soft enough. So now we're just going to get our peppers carefully out of this bath, hot bath, and get them just into any kind of a dish. You know, if you wanted to make more servings of this, which is something I often do, I will actually cut the peppers lengthwise so that, and like for these, I would actually have 8 halves instead. But we're going to do it like this traditional way. And I probably should have had a smaller, in fact, I think I am going to get a smaller pan here to use so they stand up nicely. So let's just get these in here. Get all that water out. And then we can get all of our filling inside. Move these guys out of the way. So then, let's just get in here. Get a different spoon. And, whoa, thank you. Just start to fill these guys up with this delicious filling. And don't worry if you get it all over the place, because there's going to be way more than actually fit in these. So what I usually end up doing is just putting it all around the sides. So you actually end up with this sort of casserole with the peppers that people can take, but then you've also got all this extra for people that are hungrier. And I got these falling all over, but that's okay, because it's all going the same place, right? That's what Mom always said. So just put this down around the edges. Deliciousness. Isn't that pretty? All these beautiful colors. Whoops. Stuff everywhere today. It's so messy. That's okay. This is all going to be delicious. And there's going to be a lot of it for hungry people on this cold winter day. On this very, very cold winter day. This is perfect fare for a cold winter day, or really good time at all. But this is that comfort food. Look at that, you guys. All right, so I'm just going to put this aside, and I'm going to add one more thing to this. Let me just grab a towel. All right, pretty that up just a little. Get that out of the way. And I'm just going to add on top of this one more thing, and that is just some mozzarella cheese. And you don't have to add this. You could also add Parmesan cheese, Romano cheese, grated. Or you could add cheddar cheese if you wanted to do this like Tex-Mex with taco seasoning and beans. So I'm just adding some mozzarella to keep with that Italian thing we've got going on. And so I'm going to pop this in the oven, 350 for about 30 minutes, and then I'll meet you back here, and we're going to dig into our homemade stuffed peppers. See you soon. You guys, welcome back. Look at this. Look at that, you guys. Look at these peppers. I forgot to tell you before I put in the oven to put the tops on, put the little hats back on the peppers. So make sure that you do that, okay? But look at this. And see all the extra that we put on the side, and look at the cheese. Look at the cheese. Look at that. Now I know you want this, even though it's healthy. I know you want to eat this. Should we try it? Let's try it. This is so hot. I'm probably going to burn my mouth off, but I'll try not to. I have to try it. Okay. Come on. It is so good. Literally, you would never know that there was oatmeal in here. Never. And it's so good for you. I really want you to try it with this. You will thank me. Trust me. Come back next time and haunt my kitchen because we are making much more delicious food right here in my haunted kitchen. See you guys next time.